It was a tale of two very different stock markets on either side of the Atlantic today. Shares in London fell again, but America's stock market put up a big rally. Here, the FTSE 100 index fell nearly 81 to 37.77. The London market's fallen almost 30% in the past 3 months. But what does that loss mean for British companies and the wider economy? Our economics editor, Evan Davis, reports.
Hamleys' flagship toy store in London. Pardon the pun, but if any company understands life in a bear market, this should be it. A bear market is one where people want to sell, where prices are falling, where pessimists rule. The word bear in this context comes from an old proverb, actually, selling the bear's skin before one's caught the bear. But does a bear market, or stock markets in general, actually matter to real companies like Hamleys?
It's still selling as well as ever today.
Simon Burke is the executive chairman of Hamleys. As it happens, his company is doing well, sales up, share price all right, confidence holding up.
I think in an economy like the UK, there isn't a strong direct connection between the performance of share prices in the stock market and how consumers behave. It's one or two steps removed. What can be dangerous is if there is a lot of talk in the newspapers about the destruction of wealth by falling stock markets and risks to pensions, which of course can begin to play on people's minds.
But shares matter for another reason too. They say how much a company is worth. Hamleys has 21 million shares. Each one gives the owner a 1/21 millionth share of the company. A share today costs £1.69. That makes Hamleys worth £35 million. Now, the company made about £2.5 million for shareholders over the last year, so the company is worth 14 times its annual earnings.
Get set, go!
That's a good way of valuing shares. At the moment, they don't look expensive, but not bargain basement either. And it matters that they're not too cheap.
For public companies, shares are one of the principal ways in which they raise new cash for investment. That's part of the point of being on the stock market. So if shares go down, then it means that companies do find it harder to use share capital to invest, and therefore investment can become more difficult.
Around the world, company spending on investment has followed the markets up and then down again. The connections between what goes on in Hamleys and what goes on in the City of London or Wall Street are indirect and they're slow to be felt. But ultimately, stock markets do matter, because even Toyland is a share-owning capitalist economy these days. Evan Davis, BBC News.